moves and perfect balance. Yes, I'll take him. Oh, he played 70 years ago. Oh, it doesn't matter. Will Chamberlain's the same way. If I was going to tell you, oh, I got a 7'2" guy who is 300 pounds, who can run like a deer and has great skills and great defensive ability. Well, we basically just saw it. The whole world went crazy over Victor Wembanyama. And Wilt was more athletic than him. Victor's a
Yeah,
little taller.
and larger.
Well, this way, yeah, build wise, yeah. See,
Yeah.
Victor's taller. But it's I think the more I talk about Brown, the more I think the comparison of Brown is to Wilt Chamberlain or or Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh yeah, I fully throw him into the Wilt category.
Just overpowering athleticism, overwhelming,
and the fact they both had years left in them when they stopped.
Yep. And to that extent, both received ongoing, significant, sincere offers to resume their playing careers long after they retired.
Yes.
For that very reason, for what you just said, because everyone knew they had plenty left in the tank. I mean, Wilt retired out, his last year, he averaged like 20 rebounds a game. It's like, yeah, he's still perfectly capable.
It's funny because today's the anniversary of his last game in 1973, was it, against the Knicks?
Yo, that's right.
And yeah, he had 21 points and 24 rebounds in that game.
And that was the last game he played.
Yeah.
It's something. So yeah, Jim Brown dead at the age of 87. Late breaking story. This happened about 30 minutes before we went on the air. So not a lot of time to prepare anything. So, these are just my honest and off the cuff thoughts. I mean, as a fan of sports history, the way I am, this is a name I've long known, and probably other than maybe a handful of basketball players and perhaps Barry Sanders, there's very few highlight films I enjoy watching over and over again over Jim Brown films. His highlight films, it's like equal parts funny and you feel sympathy for the defenders. Like, oh man, it's impossible. You can't do anything with this guy. Look at him.
Think about this too, Gary. 5.2 yards per carry for his career.
Absolutely insane.
That's nuts.
All-time record.
Especially considering the time he played.
Right. And like Sanders, he did not play for a team that had a passing threat of any kind. He was the show. Everyone in the building knew he was getting the ball every time, and they still couldn't do anything with him.
He had Frank Ryan for a while, who was a decent quarterback, and they were a consistent playoff team with him, but Brown was the main reason they won as much as they did.
Yeah, and until LeBron and the Cavs in 2016, Jim Brown was the star player on the last major championship for the city of Cleveland.
Yes, in 1964.
So, I mean, yeah. So I've often wondered, and you lived through a lot of those years, so I'm going to ask your opinion on this. What effect in keeping his memory and sort of persona more in the public limelight later into life than maybe a lot of other athlete legends? What effect do you think that championship and the fact that the city didn't win anything since then for so long had on Brown? Did his public persona benefit from that in any way? Because I feel like it might have.
I don't think it did that much. He was relevant because he was constantly in the news. He was in the headlines. He did a lot of things for people that needed it at the time. He fought a lot of battles. He went on a lot of marches. And he was always there. He was one of the people, even until near the end, Gary. He was one of the people that they turned to for the true Black voice. And it got so in his later years they started turning to him again instead of Al Sharpton all the time and people of that ilk.
Right, right. Yeah, well, yeah, Al Sharpton's yeah, that's a different story. Um, but no, I mean this is just an all-time legend. There's no doubt about it. Um, and I think this is one of those guys whose impact is gonna long outlive his lifetime. I think we're gonna know the impact of Jim Brown for decades to come.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
on the field impact as well as all the social stuff we were talking about. But I think that to this day, there's only been 6 or so running backs that have approximated his level of greatness. Maybe one a decade since his retirement.
I had the chance to see one up close when I was young. So, yes,
What was that?
OJ,
OJ, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, OJ, Barry
who
Sanders.
told Jim Brown when he was a teenager that he was going to break all of his records. Jim Brown said, "Okay, yeah, kid."
Go for it. That's something, man. That's there's a Jewish term for that called chutzpah. That is chutzpah.
Still had the first 2,000-yard season
That's right. That's
in a
right.
14-game season.
Yeah, OJ was something. Yeah, OJ, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton. Uh, that's kind of like maybe it.
That's the pantheon.
Yeah, I mean the most contemporary guy who I think comes closest to that level would be Adrian Peterson. He was such an animal. Adrian
Yeah,
Peterson was a beast. A total beast. He's the best running back I've seen in the NFL since Barry Sanders. I'm comfortable saying that.
in a long time.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, he was a monster. He's the best running back of this millennium. I'll say. Um, he was a monster. LaDainian Tomlinson was really good too, but Peterson
He was very good.
But you just couldn't tackle Adrian Peterson.
And unfortunately, they don't rely on them as much anymore.
Right, right. You know who I respected the most of contemporary running backs was I loved Frank Gore. He's like second or third all time in rushing yards, and no one ever thought he was anything better than just good. But he was just good and consistent and available for 17, 18 years. I guess you have to put Emmett Smith.
He was
in that
very
pantheon, too.
good for a real long time.
A real long time, right. And I guess you have to put Emmett Smith in that top shelf pantheon.
Another one who was very good for a real long time.
Yep.
Emmett Smith had the pleasure of barely getting touched until he had 4 to 5 yards.
Yes, that's true.
He had one of the all-time great offensive lines in front of him.
And he had a passing attack that the defense had to respect and worry about.
Yes.
Barry Sanders had no such luxuries.
No.
Like, Barry, why didn't you block that guy? Well, he was running away from the other guy.
Neither did Brown. Neither did OJ when he was here.
Yep. Well, no one could catch OJ and no one could tackle Jim Brown.
Yeah.
So there you go. So rest in peace to Jim Brown, dead at 87, an all-time legend across any sport, across any era. If you were going to do the Mount Rushmore of football players, I think he's on there. I think it's him.
Oh, yes.
I think it's probably Tom Brady. I think probably Jerry Rice. And I would say probably either like Dick Butkus or Reggie White would represent defenses.
See, this is why I don't do those things. They make no sense.
It's like pretty amazing stuff.
And Damar Hamlin is supposedly coming back, John, to answer your question.
I did hear that, yes.
He hasn't officially said anything, but he's been at the facility working. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't.
And he was medically cleared a few weeks ago.
Yes, he was.
So, yeah. He hasn't announced it, to your point, Rich, but the doctors have said he can play. And to your point, he's actively taking steps. So, looks like he will be. All right, let's take a break.
Fantastic news, too.
It is. He's a good young player. So,
he is.
That's good. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. I want to get Rich's scouting report, his take on Victor Wembanyama. We haven't had a chance to do that since the lottery was announced and what this means for the Spurs. No longer can we put together a scrap heap G League team or two, Rich. Maybe we might have to get some NBA free agents to beat the Spurs next year. Some actual NBA players. So we'll do that next. Maybe a question of the day as well. It's the Gary Ayd Show. Back after this here in the cave.
Coffee Lovers Middletown is now officially home to the home run of our favorite beverage, Days Coffee. Days' patented blend contains approximately 85% less caffeine than other coffees, which makes it better for you, yet unlike decaf coffee, still gives you that great pickup and tastes amazing. Formulated by a retired cancer pathologist, Dr. Grant Lee, Days Coffee is fermented with a patented enzyme that until now required a complex and thus expensive sourcing and production process. With Dr. Lee's formulation, this enzyme's great health benefits can now be brought to your cup quicker, easier, and cheaper than ever before. Here's how you get a hold of this game-changing cup of joe. Go over to radioonlydeals.com and get a $4 gift certificate to Days Coffee for just $2. That's radioonlydeals.com to buy your single-use digital gift certificate for Days Coffee. Radioonlydeals.com. That's radioonlydeals.com. Enjoy the preferred coffee of the Gary Ayd Show. Enjoy Days Coffee.
All righty, we're back. So before we do the question of the day, I want to get your take here on Wembanyama, Rich. Obviously, we've not had a prospect who's had this type of anticipation surrounding them probably since LeBron. And
True, and I want to slow down on that.
okay.
I don't think it was Woj, but someone said, well, if he just turns out to be Hakeem Olajuwon, that'll be a major disappointment. No, it won't.
Oh, talk about pressure. No pressure, kid.
Why are they doing this to this kid?
Wow, that's rough.
Man, he's got an 8-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
He's got height. He's agile enough to play power forward. He's tall enough to where it's going to be tough to block his jumper.
Yep.
He's productive in the paint. He's got a soft touch. He's got some pretty good feet. Good moves in the post. He knows how to play the pick and roll. He's an excellent shot blocker. He can guard smaller players. He's thin. People say, well, that's a weakness. I don't know. He doesn't box out as well as he could. And it's hard for him to defend post-ups, but he's 19.
Right.
He'll put on the weight. He's going to go to San Antonio and eat a ton of churros anyway, so come on.
Churros and tacos, baby. And some Texas barbecue.
But this overreaching. I mean, during the draft lottery, Woj did say, "Oh, the greatest prospect ever."
Yeah,
Let's not put this kind of pressure on this kid.
And here's the thing.
It's a little much.
I mean, it is. I understand where a lot of it comes from. I mean, because he is such a physical anomaly, right? But like the thing is that I can't shake that stays in my head. There's only been, maybe a dozen or so guys of 7'5" or more, or maybe 24 at the most, in NBA history. And of the ones that were like really good or supposed to be really good, none of them were great. I mean, Porzingis is probably one of the more productive guys of that height. Sean Bradley was useful.
Wembanyama's 7'3", the same way Porzingis is.
Well, I saw him listed at 7'5".
He's not.
That's what I see him listed at right now. I'm pulling it up. 7'5".
Well, then I'm 6'10".
All right, why not?
Don't believe every height you read.
Well, either way, my point, what I was getting at here, was that most of these guys who are this tall don't last very long and have major foot problems.
Yes.
And that would be a concern of mine if I was just in general. But just because of history, whether it's Ilgauskas or whether it's Murasan or Porzingis, or like a lot of these guys had feet problems.
But
So,
he's built more like Kareem than he is
yes.
Ilgauskas.
Yeah, that's true. Which should help him, hopefully. So there we go. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing him play. And now the Spurs all of a sudden have a very attractive centerpiece with which to build. But you know what that means? We're never getting rid of old Groucho, Rich. He's gonna be here forever.
Oh
now.
no, we're not. He's just got another reason to be grouchy now. This is excellent.
He's just,
we look at him and figure he's about 90, but he's only 74.
I'm surprised he's that young. He just looks and acts like he's like 85 or 90, like you said. He's just such a grouch.
Oh, I know.
It's like King Groucho.
But I'm intrigued to see the kid play. I saw a lot of his games were made available.
Yes, I saw a few of them myself
this year, so it was nice to see him play, and I did get to see some of his games. But it's going to be a learning curve. It's going to be a process. The one thing is, most of these kids haven't touched a professional basketball court. And it showed by the way some of them looked at the combine. But he has, and he's excelled.
Yeah, I know. And for what it's worth, and I think it's worth quite a bit, the testimonials he's received from NBA royalty, whether it's LeBron or Steph Curry, a few others, have been nothing short of lauding. So,
yes,
that means something.
It does. It does. It means a lot.
So it's going to be interesting. I'll tell you this: the Spurs are instantly one of the teams that I care to watch again. Just out of curiosity now. And we'll see. What I'm curious about is what type of player is he going to be? Is he going to be a guy that plays outside in or inside out? Is he going to play to score? Is he going to play to try to, draw attention and then hit open shooters? Because those type of questions determine to a large extent what type of roster you try to build around him if you're San Antonio.
I think he is going to play exactly to the strengths that Pop wants him to play to. I know we consider him the curmudgeon and the grouchy old man, but let me tell you something. His mind isn't done.
No, that's very true.
And he will know how to use him. I think he will use him a little more like, to use the Spurs example, David Robinson rather than Tim Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
And I trust in what he'll do.
Just hope he doesn't disappoint and only become Hakeem Olajuwon. What a stupid comment. Who said that nonsense? What an idiot.
I don't remember who it was. One of the
what an
NBA
idiot.
people.
What a moron. Forget putting pressure on the kid. That's just stupid. Only become Hakeem
I
Olajuwon.
understand expectations.
Yes.
I was talking to a hockey scout about that, and he said, what I hate when I look at a player's scouting report is see plays most like.
Right.
And it's, a very, very good current player or recently retired player.
Right.
It's not always going to work like that. The game changes. Things are different. Let's just let this kid learn and be the best version of him that he can.
Absolutely. That's exactly what you want to do. But hey, I know this. I'm excited about watching him. I can't wait to see what type of player he ultimately becomes. I think he's a guy who is an attraction, which is not always the case with every NBA player. With every NBA top draft pick, he's an attraction. He's gonna sell tickets. I guarantee Spurs season tickets have probably already sold out for next year if they've been allowed to go on sale.
They did what the Chicago Blackhawks did when they won their lottery. Started selling tickets like crazy, and they haven't reached Blackhawk level where they've sold 5,000, but they've sold over 3,000 season tickets. And considering they averaged 17 a game, that's good. That's really good.
That's a great
lot
number.
of their games will be sold out.
Yep. It's true. All righty. Well, let's take a break. We're coming back. We got Amelia Sherwood of the OC Bombers, and then we will speak with Joe Vasile of the Renegades to wrap up the show today. So back-to-back interviews, 1 hour program today, because I am going to the Renegades game, which starts at 6 o'clock, courtesy of my dad joke.
Make sure there's no goose out, right?
Out
of the field.
I'm telling you. I was talking to Joe. You'll hear a story about that from Joe in our interview I recorded about an hour ago with him. What was crazy, though, one thing I'll say is that one of the groundskeepers picked this thing up. And that takes big-time bravery, because geese are nasty, mean animals. They'll bite you just for the hell of it, let alone if you try to pick them up.
Ron Darling said that this morning on MLB Central. Somebody said, why don't you just nudge him a little bit? Darling said, you ever been kicked by a goose? He said, it's not pleasant.
And they're mean critters. They really are.
They are.
All right. Well, we got Amelia coming up next. Joe Vasile of the Renegades after that. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you. With the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
All righty, welcome back to the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave, and we are joined now by one of our OC Bomber players of the week, Amelia Sherwood, and her dad, Brian, is with us as well. Hello, Amelia. How are you?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Thanks for joining us today. A-
Welcome.
and so tell me, how long have you been playing softball?
I've been playing softball for three years.
3 years now? Okay, cool. And how long have you been playing with the Bombers?
3 years.
Okay, so right from the start. Awesome. Do you
Mhm.
play elsewhere as well?
No,
No, just the Bombers. Cool. What positions do you play?
I play first base and catchers and catcher.
And catcher. All right. Do you prefer one over the other?
I prefer catching over first base.
Yes. Because you're involved in every play, right?
Yes,
Yes, absolutely. Now, do you hit lefty or righty?
Brady.
Cool. You throw righty as well?
Yes,
Cool. What's your favorite part of this sport? Is it hitting? Is it fielding? Is it running the bases? Like, what's your favorite part about playing?
hitting.
Hitting. Okay, cool. What's your approach to hitting? How do you typically go up there? Are you trying to work the count? Are you trying to hit the ball deep? Or like what's your game plan?
Just trying to focus on hitting the ball.
Mhm. Um, when you're catching, what's the most important part of being a catcher?
Catching the ball.
Catching it when the pitcher throws it.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. Where have you? What's been your favorite place you've played?
Catching, I think.
Oh no, I mean
Yeah.
like location, like a city or a field or someplace that you made a travel to.
Oh. I don't know what that Kentucky. We played
Kentucky.
in.
That was last year, right?
Yeah, that was our nationals for last year.
Yeah, that must have been a lot of fun. You were there for a week, right? Was it? Yep.
That was a week.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Have you made a lot of friends playing softball?
Yeah, I've made a lot of friends.
Awesome. Um, would you say most of your close friends are also softball players?
Yeah, some of my close friends are softball players.
Mhm. Do you see people from other teams often, like teams you play against? Like, do you run
No,
into
not
them?
really.
No? Interesting. All right. I just want to ask your dad one or two things real quick.
Sure.
Hey, Brian. I didn't realize you were still right there.
Yeah.
Have you had multiple children go through travel sports, or is Amelia your first?
No, she's actually my second. My oldest daughter is currently in travel softball as well. So we juggle the two of them right now. And my son is getting into baseball. So it's
Oh.
fun times right now.
So you have just an insane amount of free time on your hands. You have nothing going on.
My time is filled up.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. So you're just going left, right, and center. If you were gonna give advice to a new family coming into a travel program for the first time, what would you tell them to kind of be prepared for?
Dedication takes a lot to, it's a lot. It's a lot of running around and juggling different things, especially if you have multiple children. But I would say that stick to it. It's a great organization. The people are great. The coaches are great. Everybody does their fair share of at least with the parents. Everybody gets along. It's just a really nice time when you travel and everybody's staying in the hotel, and it's a nice experience. And the kids really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I would say
I guess my last question for you is what's been I don't actually usually ask this to parents, but it just occurred to me. What's been your most pronounced memory with your time traveling with your children to these various venues through travel sports?
well, I'm going to go back to the Kentucky trip as well because it was a heck of an experience last year for these girls to go down so far and be like do as well as they did and just to experience what it's all about. I mean, I think they learned a lot, and I'm already seeing it this year on the field. The growth has been immense.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that sounds like such a cool place to go. I mean, that's a part of the country that, unless you either move there or have some job that takes you there, that's a part of the country you're not likely to often go in a lifetime. So that must have been like quite an experience for everybody.
Yes, it was. It was. I brought most of the family, so it was pretty. It was a great experience, and I know the kids enjoyed it. The kids enjoyed it the most. So
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
good stuff. I'm gonna ask Amelia one last thing here before we wrap up. Hey, Amelia,
Hi.
what what's your favorite softball memory, like a play or a game or a moment since you've been playing?
Um, I think it's kind of just been like being with my team
Okay.
and like having such good teammates.
That's cool. Yeah, so you just really enjoy, being together and spending time together then.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of your season and congratulations again, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You got it. Thank you guys. That's Amelia and Brian Sherwood. This is the Gary Ayd Show. Good stuff. And I think we lost Rich here. I'll get him right back. But one thing that I think is interesting is Kentucky as a locale, as a destination, because that's not a place, as I said, that's not a place you often get to, unless you have like a reason to go there. It's not like a typical destination. And it was pretty good stuff, I have to say. So anyway, Rich,
What place was that, Gary?
it was Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's just not a city or a state that you're gonna go to necessarily unless you have like a reason to go there or you have family there or something, And it's a nice state, but it's just not on like the short list of places that people regularly travel to just for the sake of traveling.
I had a car breakdown in Florence, Kentucky.
Is that right?
Yeah, and the people were super nice.
What did they do? Like, you need some oil, so here's some Jack Daniels or what?
They pretty much just made sure it got into the garage, took care of the problem, and while I was having a steak dinner.
That's tremendous. That is tremendous.
And the second time I was through Kentucky was when I went to Nashville.
There you go.
I made that drive, and going through Kentucky is the quickest way from where I am to get there.
Makes sense to me. All right, well let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back. We're actually going to wrap up the show today with Joe Vasile, interview I recorded a little bit earlier on with the Renegades. So that's next, and we will see you guys again on Monday. Have a great weekend. We're gonna play this interview right now. The Facebook stream is gonna end. We're gonna play this interview on the app. If you're interested in hearing our conversation with Joe Vasile of the Renegades, go ahead and open up the app. It'll be playing momentarily, and we will be back live again on Monday from 4 to 6. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you then. The Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.